Thursday. Today is a proper pajama day. I just got back from taking Lincoln for a quick walk and we're going to jump straight in. Sun is shining. I don't have to go into the island today. I shuffled my clients all to Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week, which is real nice. Lady Grey tea. Still a little bit hot. I had something I wanted to talk about. Picked a stupid card, and it was right on topic. So I'm going to read this first, and then we're going to have a chat. What did we get today? We got the Rebel. The Rebel. Such beautiful cards. Always love these cards. I mean, stupid cards, but beautiful cards. All right, so this one, the Rebel. The powerful and authoritative figure in this card is clearly the master of his own destiny. On his shoulder is an emblem of the sun, and the torch he holds in his right hand symbolizes the light of his own hard-won truth. Whether he is wealthy or poor, the rebel is really an emperor because he has broken the chains of society's repressive conditioning and opinions. He has formed himself by embracing all the colors of the rainbow, emerging from the dark and formless root of his unconscious past and growing wings to fly into the sky. His very way of being is rebellious, not because he is fighting against anybody or anything, but because he has discovered his own true nature and it is determined to live in accordance with that. The eagle is a spirit animal, a messenger between earth and sky. The Rebel card challenges us to be courageous enough to take responsibility for who we are and live our truth. People are afraid, very afraid of those who know themselves. They have a certain power, a certain aura, and a certain magnetism, a charisma that can take alive young people out from the traditional imprisonment. The enlightened man cannot be enslaved. That is the difficulty, and he cannot be imprisoned. Every genius who has known something of the inner is bound to be a little difficult to be absorbed. He is going to be an upsetting force. The masses don't want to be disturbed, even though they may be in misery. They are in misery, but they are accustomed to the misery. And anybody who is not miserable looks like a stranger. The enlightened man is the greatest stranger in the world. He does not seem to belong to anybody. No organization confines him, no community, no society, no nation. Dum, dum, dum. Man, I love that. I love that card. But that, to me, is the creator economy. It's for us rebels that have always looked at society, looked at the way people live and just gone, nope. I don't know, even if it's like, I don't know fully what I want, but I know it's not that. I just remember as a kid, the way that these adults were operating and being able to see the difference in how different adults operated. Some were stuck in the office, some were doing things they loved, some were doing things they hated. It blew my mind. It blew my mind that whole portions of the world spend so long in misery and then they spend all their free time out of it complaining about it. No, thank you. Not when you can see that there are artists in this world and creatives and people that do odd jobs. I think now, let me pick up my tea, otherwise it's going to get into a long one. I think now people can see it a bit more, just like I said, with the rise of the creator economy and the fact that all this online exposure has really taken down the gatekeepers. Like even before, even when the internet was still in its more of its infancy, like it still took publishers to get a book out or to be seen as somebody of authority that way, or it took, the schools to give you the connections to get into the right businesses, or it took knowing somebody or being, paying to be in the right, like, you get to create your own art in this world now, right? There are no gatekeepers in that sense. I think paying to be in rooms that you want to be in to learn certain sides of the businesses, that will never change. There is a element of pay to play, and it makes sense now the more I sit in it. I think I had felt before why for a while. And it's because they don't want freeloaders and people that, you know, say they want something but are not prepared to do the work. Like, there are levels of entry and levels of training that you have to go through. It just it's reminding me of the martial arts belts. It's like you can't rock up as a white belt and expect the payments of a black belt when you haven't spent any time mastering your practice or mastering yourself and mastering this. And what I love about that card, it's the bit that it says here, the rebel challenges us to be courageous enough to take responsibility for who we are and to live our truth. It is nobody else's responsibility to figure that out. Hell, they're figuring that out for themselves. All right? Like, you got to figure it out for yourself. And I think that's when you come, I'm starting to see, it's funny, I love how my algorithms start to mirror some of the phases that I'm in, and then it starts to find me new people of different awareness levels that I've kind of moved through. And I've just been seeing, oh, I might sneeze. Nope. Okay, we're good. If I need to, I'll grab a tissue. They're over there. I can see them. Oh, okay, where was I? Oh yeah, algorithms shifting and finding the right people at the right time. I've been seeing a lot more of the spirituality posts from people further along in their journey, who are, what is it? It's along the lines of, you get so spiritual that you sort of come back to doing everything that is deemed unspiritual. Oh, you just realize, I think you just come out the other end and there's that all that pressure on. I think we've had this chat before, right? It's that weird pressure that you can put on yourself where you want to be going down these paths, growing, becoming a better person, taking care of yourself better, you know, all of that sort of stuff. And then where was I going with this? I'm crossing it over with that, it's Darby, that artist that said, you know, growth, yes, striving, yes, building, yes, like it's all great, it's all good, but every so often you really have to go royally fuck up so that you can reset the difficulty level. And I think that's that toxic productivity side and toxic wellness side of all of this that happens, and you have to find your own ways through those little, you know, traps and ebbs and flows, and, you know, get into those points where you're looking at the spiritual stuff and then unpacking so much and then realizing that actually staying stuck in the unpacking is not helping, so you have to move from looking backwards to looking forwards, and make sure you're looking forwards but then also using the backwards to help map certain things onto the forwards if you need. But at the end of the day, we're all rendering from this time forward, so the longer that you can stay stuck in the back, the longer that this, I guess, still pulls from that. I don't know. It's very interesting. It's very interesting watching how things are now rendering in my life as I've sort of the biggest one was to find that inner, it's so odd. Like I can feel it now all the time, and it makes me so happy that I did that work and that calming and that meditation and that grounding, and just I'm just not disconnected from inside here anymore. It's like there's like this column of calm that runs through my body. And when people try and, you know, when things come out of left field or things, it's like how secure can you just keep that center? Like it's fine for things to be, you know, but you don't have to rise to match that energy, you know. And I think that's where cities, especially Hong Kong, again, I don't know other cities and places, and I'm sure places that have more suburbs that are further out of the cities have bigger spaces, maybe because Hong Kong's so small, it's still, you can still feel it all around, like the electricity, and it's easy for you to feel like you're getting this like hype, and to not get caught up in this energy of always being on and awake and excited, and it's just exhausting. It's just exhausting. It's like we don't have to be at this like peak edge all the time. You know, it's like, what is that lazy river speed that you can find inside of you first, and then not allow things to pull you so far out of that. Not saying that it won't ever, not saying that you're never going to get riled again. I think that sort of ties in with all of this. It's this very finite boxes and these very things, like everything is just so much more messy and overlapped and interconnected than what society specifically has been trying to do with box everything up. And I think that's where so much of this confusion comes from, because when you isolate everything to its own thing, you by definition suffocate it, no? Very interested to hear what you guys think about all of this. Because I know that was, again, like looking back on that journey, I was seeking the one thing, the one skill, the one consistency, the one commitment that I can just do and learn and then coast and be fine. And it's like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Like having those anchor things, having this, having the newsletter, having, I definitely think more as I go through it. There are three anchors in terms of the personal branding. The newsletter is the writing version. YouTube for me is the speaking this version. That's the long form writing and the long form practicing of this. I think those two are the top, right? So those are the top of the waterfall. If you've heard anybody like Matt Gray or anybody of those guys talk about content waterfalls in terms of hierarchies, where are you sitting at the top? Building your story and building your, speaking to your audience from that protagonist place of, this is who I am, this is what I've learned, this is how this can help you in this certain thing, follow along for the journey as I figure it out. I think that plays back into what I was just saying about it feeling like you have to have one thing figured out, or it's this or it's that. It's almost like you've gone on a headless goose chase. I don't know why that phrase just popped into my head, but yeah, like you're just going on a random runaround trying to find that, when if you step back a little bit, it's like, oh, it was never that at all. Like, it really is the and both. We can be multiple things. We are multifaceted human beings. Like, I even find it funny now speaking to people. It's like, oh, what do you do? So what do I not do? And it's not that, and I don't do a lot, which is hilarious, but I also do a lot. But I enjoy doing a lot. And I think that's been the biggest odd one for me, making sure that, because I knew the personal brand tied me to it. But then I still felt like I had to put myself into one thing within the personal brand. And I also think that may have been correct as we had been coming out of the era of just the work, just this. Freelancers are almost hidden and offline, or they're just in a whole nother world completely that you don't really see it. 9-to-5s, corporates, like these were the only options you had. But now that the creator economy is 5, 6 plus whatever years into its growth, into its development, into more people taking it upon themselves to start doing this and to start building for themselves with no permission needed, and no permission needed on what it is they are creating. Yes, there has to be some sort of reciprocity with your audience at some point, where it's like you're listening to what they want, so that there are people that are following, coming and following you and sticking around, and you're actually helping your audience. So you need to see who they are at some point. But at the end of the day as well, if you follow it too much and it's also not something that you enjoy doing, that's where the disconnect starts to happen. And it's always that stupid Venn diagram, isn't it? Or that like ikigai thing. It's like, what do you enjoy doing? What do others need help with? And what does your skill set solve? But you have to keep what you enjoy doing into the equation, because it's very easy. And I think this is where it is very easy. And I almost feel like I've not stunted my own growth, but I've been very stubborn about being so damn slow right now that it's almost like I refuse to just run in the wrong direction again without the proper internal training of my own mastery to know when there are bullshitters around, and to know when there are red flags, and to Not just know, because I feel like I've known for a long time, but I was never felt like I was in a position to speak up about it. Or I was so terrified of what the other person thought. And at the end of the day, I ended up having to speak up about it anyway, didn't I? I think that's always the hardest part. The longer you put some of this stuff off, it's not that it gets worse, it's just that it does get harder to say no. The longer that you allow certain relationships to continue in certain ways, once you've realized that that's not the way that you want to be treated, or that you don't appreciate the way that somebody's treating you, if you don't have enough self-respect to stand up for yourself and understand that you're either going to lose somebody, a friend, or possibly offend them momentarily, but for the betterment of the rest of your life. What is that? What did I just hear in my head? Are we mice or are we men? That's what I heard, and I think that's what I love about this rebel card as well, right? And it's something that I've also had to come to conclusions with. Like, it's very hard when you care and when you have a big heart and you have people around you and you feel like you can help them, but if they don't want to listen to you, they're not going to listen to you. That's also where the, help your friends and family kind of has to always come in last. It's like, go help strangers first. Go get the proof. Go do your reps, go make your mistakes, go make your oopses, go make your, figure it out, build it. Gosh, those bugs are loud, huh? It's bugs. I think it's like the little, I'd love to tag that lady in it and see if it's the cicadas, but I don't know if it is. I'm going to close that door. I closed it with my foot. I'd be very impressed. I hope that makes it a little less, but they've got the ding, 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 ding. It stopped. It's bugs. How crazy is that? Me and Garth were in on that year after COVID, after the spine surgery. We traveled. We did 6 months in Europe and the UK with my family, and then 6 months in South Africa. But we spent, at the beginning of it, we spent 6 weeks in Thailand because my parents were based there at the time. When we did one of these hikes around the Patong zipline track. We'd gone on the zip line as kids, and obviously since COVID it had been run down and abandoned and they hadn't opened it for many, many years, so we walked the track. But there was one point where we were walking through, for one, these leaves on some of these trees were just so massive. It was like mind-boggling. I kind of felt like we'd walked into giant land or something. But then at one point both of us just stopped dead because it was that kind of high-pitched ringing of the cicadas, I don't know how you say it, I don't know how you pronounce it. Cicadas is how that lovely lady pronounces it. I think we've always said cicadas, British. It was so loud. It was just insane, and we could hear it going from one side, and then it must have been like a swarm of them all like together, because we heard it go from one side in front of us and over to the other side, and then just surround us for a while, and then it got really, really big, and then it suddenly went quiet. We just like nuts. Nature, the earth, mountains. I'm very excited for this year's trip. I don't know, so much to offer us, and we're just stuck inside these boxes. What was that one comedian said or something? And then we try and bring the outside to the inside instead of just going outside. We decorate. Anyway, I'm going to open that up again. What was I saying? I was talking about, I guess, friends, family. Like, when you start to get excited about what you're doing, it's like, help others first. Keep it outside of your circle. This is why I like to, when I say to my clients and stuff, and I did it myself, I went and hid. Like, I posted on Twitter for a couple of years before I even felt like I'd found my reps to then come back and start posting these things on Instagram in front of the people that had known me for the whole time that I'd been posting over there. Same as like starting this. I'm not telling people that I'm starting this YouTube channel over there just yet. I'm sort of drip feeding it, but I'm taking the pressure off myself of whatever eyeballs I feel like, to be fair, there are no more eyeballs on me. It was like down to 3 people. And once I got that out of my system, I was like, you're really going to allow those 3 idiots to stop you from doing this and live the life that you know is so fucking amazing and that you can see other creators doing just because you're a little bit shy or a little bit timid? Like, again, are we mice? Are we men? And it doesn't have to be this loud, boisterous, like, thing, or this, you get to just be you. But the problem is that it sounds so simple. And I remember 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, like, that advice sucked. And I even have a poster about it. Oh, just be you. I didn't know who I was. Like, just be yourself. Myself was so far down in there. Myself was like, I'll be the myself that you feel like I should be. I'll be the myself that you want. What myself would you like today? Ugh. I definitely think a key is becoming a fun person, becoming an interesting person, and becoming a good friend, and thinking about that. Because I also realized, like, at that point, or for like, I hadn't had long-term relationships with girlfriends, with friends, with people. Again, the nature of Hong Kong, it being a very transient city, people come, people go. Like, I didn't start high school and primary with all the same people that, finished. We had disconnected relationships. It was very much people come here for 2-year contracts and then they leave. Like, the depth that you get from knowing people. It's lovely saying, you can't make old friends overnight. And I think this is where the creators who have figured out that this is a process of art for themselves, and that they are figuring out how to enjoy the rep so that they can keep producing in a way that doesn't feel like it's betraying them or doesn't feel like it's performing, comes into play. Because if you can find that and find your safe zone and find a point where you're feeling like, again, take the pressure off. Don't even pretend it's for anybody. Like, I genuinely started doing this for me as well. Like, I know I've been wanting to do this for so long. And like I said, I kept putting pressure on myself. I don't know if I link it on my old channel. I started doing like 100-day talking to the camera thing the summer that my father had passed away, because I was giving myself something to distract myself with. But I was also realizing, again, it's like, there is never a good time to start. There is never a good time to do anything. There is never a good, and if it's not this, it's something else. It's like, you have to build and grow things for yourself, by yourself. I think that's where I was always stuck. I just, for some reason, I still assumed that somebody was going to give me the job that I wanted without a boss. Yeah, that doesn't happen. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And again, when you go into working for yourself, having only ever come out of the 9 to 5 or only ever seen that structure, it is very hard not to place yourself back into that structure as just self-employed, and then more frazzled than what you would have been if you had just been able to get a paycheck from somebody and on your weekends properly switch off. Because now you own your thing, you're very passionate about it, which means you deeply care, which means it is your identity that is attacked when people don't like it. It is your, like, forcing, why can't people see what I see, and why don't people just want to buy it, and why, but I'm too tired to actually take the time to do the marketing properly, to get people, because I'm just so tired of setting it all up, because, again, you're running around like a headless chicken doing all the things that you don't really need to do before you just can get clients in. Like, so much doesn't have to happen until you're actually starting to get money and pay clients. Like, I understand, yes, with different skill sets, of course, if you're an artist, you have to have been painting for many, 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 many years in order to then start getting clients in and stuff. But testing ideas and iterating and just smaller. I think people are thinking still far too big when they start. And it's like, it's great to think big. Big goals, great. But when they freak you out of the day-to-day stuff, the day-to-day is all we've got to operate in. So if on a day-to-day you are frazzled, you are burnt out, you are feeling like ass, how is your best work going to get done? And again, I'm not saying you have to start with your best work. Shitty reps are reps, getting through it. the and both. I think it's the same with the creativity, it's the same with the fitness, it's the same with the thing. You know, be the smoker and go for a run. You don't have to quit smoking before you start going for a run. And that's where people trip themselves up. They feel like they have to get rid of these habits that they're still clinging to as part of their identity, like their life depends on it, because inside it does. You're taking another track, which means you're killing the other version of you inside, which your brain goes, red fire alarm, nope, we like this, we like comfort, we like things, don't do that, it's too dangerous. Sometimes it'll even injure you so that you don't, and then you go, maybe it's too difficult, so I shouldn't even try, why bother? Why bother? Why not bother? What else are you going to do? You're going to wake up. If you have had the thought that you want to be your own creator, or you want to be autonomous with your own income, and you want to create your own income, if you haven't started it yet, you have to start. If you have started it yet and you're freelance and you're just sort of, oh, that's life, this is all I'll ever be able to make, thinking, you can come say hi. You're just going to go sit there. Okay. I know my friend. I know my fuzzy friend. Here's my fluffy friend. I got heated in that conversation for a minute and then Lincoln distracted me. Like, what else are you going to do? I think it's that. It's been that. As the years tick on, as I've still forced myself into these things and down these roads and posting and doing something and just kind of shuffling my feet, kind of going, I'm not fully sure and I'm not whole ass committed, but I know I want this and, you know, things. And it's only now that I've also taken off options of more free time to allow my own spiral. Like I know, words. I now know me more. I know my sneaky tendencies. I know what happens. I know what happens if I fixate and I start to then have too much free time and then I'm worried about something and I go down that track and it's like, what? Nope, we're not doing that again. Like, to be able to catch yourself in your own patterns and then almost set up your battlefield so that you can kind of ping pong yourself down the right tracks. It's like that 10-pin bowling thing, putting the barriers up on the gutters, which nobody should ever do, by the way, because that's cheating. It's stupid. You should learn how to play the game. But it's kind of like putting guardrails up on your life, and it's like, okay, we know we're going in that direction of the pins. How? And a couple of bumps along the way is not going to be the end of the world. But we have to set up the environment where we know that at least if we're going towards it, we're going to pull ourselves back from it, you know? It was like that same thing I said when I was at the agency, and I was like, okay, I've got my agency job now. Now I need to start taking care of myself. What do I enjoy doing? What do I not enjoy doing? And I started taekwondo lessons again, and I absolutely loved it. And then, you know what I managed to do? I managed to let my business partner get me all frazzled again and feel like the work was so important that I couldn't leave the office and go and train. There is always something else on the to-do list. There is always going to be something else onto the to-do list. And today is the only day that we have to operate. So how do you make sure that on a day-to-day basis you are feeling as amazing as you can be, so that in any given day, no matter what chaos is thrown at you, no matter what comes your way, you can maneuver it like a ninja, but also then carry on and not let it fully derail you for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then you've got to pick yourself up and start again. It's like always day one, always Monday, always starting again, always like it's exhausting. Like that cycle is exhausting. That's more exhausting than just going, nope, we're going to do it. Carry on. Dig in. Go. It's on you now. Suck it up. Put your big girl panties on. Sort it out. And if you don't want to sort it out, then take that pressure off yourself as well, but then don't have that goal. Okay, bye-bye, dream. Just for a minute. See how that feels. Do that little trick to your brain. I did that trick to my brain. It was not happy. I literally went, you don't need that goal. Why do you need to do that? Why do you need to... What if you did nothing? What if you went through life and achieved nothing, but had a wonderful life of observing nature, spending time with your friends? Achieve what? Like, again, it's this language, it's this weirdness. We've put all this odd language and terminologies on how we should live life. Should. Only you get to decide how you should live your life. And I think this is where the labels as well, also in terms of human nature, the good, the dark, the bad, the light, the desires, the taboo, like We have so much in us. I have the ability to get angry. I have the ability to be a nasty person. I have the ability to, we have both sides of every single coin within all of us. And I think being able to channel some of those emotions through some of your other strengths to do good in the world, there's a difference between being nice and being kind. I was always the nice person. And I was kind, but I was nice, and I was too nice. And I think that's the difference. Like, I am kind, and it is more kind sometimes to say your truth and say the thing so that the person in front of you can actually receive it in a way that maybe they change the trajectory of their life. Like, I'm not going to sit here and coddle somebody if I don't think that that's the right thing that they need to hear. Like, I will tell you what I think. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, it's okay. It's like, well, if you want this goal and this is happening, it's the same with like the ladies in the gym, and you can see it with clients. PT, again, I think bringing it down to movement always takes a lot more of the emotion out of it. But then this makes me laugh that it's not been laid over every other industry, because again, it's the same little trap. So more often than not, if you've built yourself into any kind of business or any sort of sustaining income, you've learned the skills that you need to master all domains. It's just then how do you actually map that into other things and also be okay with being a beginner first in certain domains. And your learning curve will go up like this because you've done the work outside in your skill set. And usually freelancers, creators, crafters, we've done a lot more of the inner work to ignore the outside and go, I don't care. I don't care, I'm going to do this. But then we also have that extra layer of, because I'm doing this, this is as far as I will ever go. Or this is as much as I will ever earn, or this is as much as I can ever do. And that's where I want people to kind of be popping their head up and realizing that with the tech and with social media and with our own ability to have these distribution platforms, that changes what's possible. Changes what's possible. And you're able to diversify the things that you offer. It doesn't always have to be physical products. It can be then digital. It can be then consults. It can be then this. And if you don't want to, do any of that, then fine. But if you're an artist, get creative. If you can't do physically X amount of commissions, prints, stickers, ACEOs, whatever. Like, you've got other options to expand where you're currently at. And again, if you are at a level of income that you enjoy, with a lifestyle that you enjoy, there's also no need for more. Like, more of what? More of chasing. Like, I think that was one of the best things Becca ever said in her thing. She's like, 20K a month was the goal. Anything past that is a bonus. Like, and that's still one of my core figures that I'm hitting and that I want to hit too. The $20 US a month recurring income. Like that, I want that as my new base. I want that as my new base, not 20 grand Hong Kong, 20 grand US would be real nice. Because that covers me and my man at least. Like, our basics, where we are, especially if we move over to South Africa, we are good. We are good. Everything else is a bonus. And I think that, also that game, like, what is your number? What is your number as, like, everything is good? And don't move that number. But then make sure that you go and build that number in a way that's sustainable and that's going to stick. Because again, gurus online and stuff, they like to tell you, oh yeah, I make 20,000 in a month. But then they don't tell you that 60% of that is actually on spend for the clients. So you're only walking away with a little bit. So again, who are you listening to? Who are you taking advice from? So much of it has to come from you actually listening to yourself first, and then finding the right mentor to back you and to be able to be your cheerleader, or to be able to then show you how they have created the results in their business that you are looking for in yours. That seems to be the, I don't know what I'm doing with this, direction, the road, the guardrails, bouncing up and down on the bowling alley thing. I don't know. Love to hear what you guys think. Definitely. But that, yeah, it's that balance of that learning who you are, to locate that inner compass, to be able to feel that inner calm so that you know when things are coming in, what's rattling, what's tingling your spidey senses going, no. Yeah. That's it. Like it's a funny game. It's a funny game we play, but more and more people. I'm seeing more and more rebels out there. More and more rebels out there, but now we've got more and more struggling rebels out there, and I want thriving rebels out there. I want thriving rebels. More good people need to be making good money. That's it. And speaking of good money, I'm going to go do my work. So I've got a good day ahead. I'm excited. I've got some really exciting projects I'm working for a few one-on-one clients. Oh, excuse me. Take a little bit of... Ew. And then I really want to focus on this painting. I really want to get this painting done. I'll show you guys what it looks like tomorrow. Maybe. Otherwise, I'll show you what it looks like Monday before I send it and seal it. I'm so close. I am close. I have the face to finish. And I have to finish it. I have to finish it. It was supposed to already be there. I wanted it to already be there, but never mind. It is what it is. I'm going to finish it. I've got to seal it with resin. My hot gun's arriving soon. Because that other resin test I did, it was such a nice finish, but I realized I didn't sit with it for long enough after I poured the resin and spent enough time with the hot gun or like a little blowtorch getting out the bubbles. So it still had quite a lot of bubbles at the end of it. And I want to make sure with this big piece, I don't want as many bubbles. I'm fine if there are some bubbles because I really like the finish of it, but I do not want as many bubbles. So I might have to do another little test, order another thing, and then, yeah, do it again just to see. Just to make sure I can get the technique right with the resin finish. But it didn't smudge the paint underneath, so that was exciting. So yeah, Thursday, big day ahead. Hope you guys are doing all right. Let me know where you're at within all of this as well. Like, where have you found your glass ceilings disappearing or appearing, and how are you navigating that? Let me know. Enjoy developing these conversations. Speak to you guys later.